Appreciate y'all coming. Appreciate y'all giving us coverage. Thought it was a pretty good first opening day. Thought our kids were very enthusiastic. Thought our coaches were organized. Of course, we got things to clean up from an organization standpoint and just getting our base fundamentals and our culture that we want to develop at practice. But really a good first day.
Coach, what have the last few weeks entailed for you between last time we saw you getting introduced and getting out here on the field?
Yep, just getting the staff together, which we have, making sure all the coaches got on the same page. So we were actually coaching the coaches and making sure what we're going to install was more than enough, but also where we don't overload the kids right now, because our first goal is just basic fundamentals, how to approach the day, and having elite walkthroughs as well as practice.
What appeals to you about your two coordinators that you hired? You mentioned the staff, two guys with a ton of experience.
Yeah, that experience helps. They understand how we practice and how we do things. So I know I can leave them, and they can take care of their side of the balls and coach the coaches on their prospective side of the balls, and allows me to do a lot of other things that I had no idea I had to do. So it's been a good deal having Kevin and Jim run the offense and defense.
What are some of those things that you had no idea about that jumped out as being that coach?
I'm not gonna say that. It's just a lot of hiccups, landmines. You just never know when you're coming into a situation that you kind of find out. But we're gonna work through those things, and we're not gonna make any excuses.
When getting the staff together, what was some of the important qualities that you were looking for that would help establish that culture here at Florida State?
First, starting with Kevin and Jim, two guys that I've worked with, I know, friends, but also demand excellence on both sides of the ball. And I know they're a leader of men, so I knew I could trust those two individuals to establish both sides of the ball, along with our special teams coordinator. And then everyone else was, how do they fit from a recruiting standpoint, being good role models to our kids, and just understanding the importance of winning.
It's kind of a abnormal spring for a lot of these players. How have they handled the transition, and just how are they handling it?
I think they're handling it fine. It's a really nice group of young men, very high character kids, hardworking. So they've been willing to do everything we've asked them to do. So we hadn't had any complaints out of our kids.
What have been some of the ways that you've gotten across to the players what you want out of them? Is it standing in this room in front of them, parting it is the way you practice? What are some of the ways you're trying to get that to them?
Yeah, team meetings, individual meetings, one-on-one meetings. We have an open door policy here, so whenever we're meeting, if a player comes by our staff meeting or office, we're going to walk out and step out and make sure that our transition is smooth, but also hear them out, because they also have a voice, and we understand this is a difficult situation, but I think we're past that now, and now it's just having fun, establishing our culture during spring football, and just trying to meet the expectations day to day.
What are you looking to see to let you know you're going in the right direction in the coming weeks?
Getting the ball snapped for one, that was good. Getting some plays off, just the basic fundamentals. Playing with great effort, doing the little things right, making sure we got 11 on offense, 11 on defense, which is part of the coach's responsibility. And then just make sure we're not palms up players, where if a coach gets on a player, we expect them to say, yes, sir, no, sir, move on, coach me, coach. Just establishing those basic guidelines that we got to have to be successful.
Talking about your coaching staff and your coordinators, but what about the rest of your staff? And how was it received when you reached out to them? Because it's kind of odd time to get to put the staff together.
Yeah, it was, but fortunately for me, it was a time where some coaches were in between jobs and didn't have anything, and so we had some first picks, second picks, but I think the staff that we acquired is a really knowledgeable staff, like I say, great characters, great leaders, and they're going to model our kids in the right way.
What's about your recruiting? And so some people that what the young man down on north side, running back over to see the world, you've been pretty busy.
Yeah, it's part of it. Recruit or die, right? So you got to have really good players to be successful. We're basically approaching the recruiting process of calling the state of Georgia two states, the state of Atlanta and the rest of the state of Georgia, and we're going to be heavily involved in state. Not saying that we won't offer and acquire kids from outside the state and transfer portal, but we're going to have a very concentrated effort on those 2 states.
When you run into some of those new things and challenges and landmines, stuff like that, as a head coach, do you lean on any of the guys like a Coach Smart that you've worked with before and say, hey, have you run into this one? Have you found yourself leaning on those guys?
No, I hadn't had time to lean on too much anybody, so it's been kind of figure it out. So really hadn't had time to call. I text Coach Smart actually 2 days ago. He didn't return my text, but I'm sure he's busy too. So they're in the middle of spring, and we'll catch up.
You mentioned experience at coordinators. You also have experience at quarterback with the guy Zach, who's had Power 5 experience. How valuable is that?
It's very valuable. First off, all our players need to just learn the basic formations, plays, assignment, alignment, and then we'll kind of progress. But we just, like I said, we'll just make sure fundamentally we're sound, we're getting a snap, we're getting lined up, we're not beating ourselves, and the execution and all those different parts that play into that will come into play. But main thing is just making sure everyone's on the same page and we'll advance as needed. No different for me because I've been a head coach before, so I didn't feel any different. I'm really excited. You don't get these opportunities very often, so I'm very blessed and humbled, and I just want to seize this opportunity to the maximum.
Most of us have seen you in your time in charge, but it feels like your energy's still different.
Why you say that?
I don't know. Just I've seen you on the sidelines numerous times.
Now games I'm different because I want the players to be kind of in a relaxed mode where they got to be in control of their performance. Practices are always more intense than the game from my standpoint because I want the players to play because I don't want them to be rattled. If I'm showing that I'm irrational or out of control, then you're going to get the same thing. So I want our guys to understand your preparation, believe in the preparation, and the game will take care of itself.
Has there been a moment of through all of this that's pleasantly surprised you being a head coach?
Not yet. It's a long process. We still got 12 days now left for spring ball and walkthrough, so we're just going to approach it each day at a time and live in the moment that we're presently in and don't look past it, make corrections, see what we need to clean up, and just try to keep building on each day and stacking days.
You had a chance to explore this building much?
No, I get kind of lost in here a little bit because there's some little corners and cuts that I have no idea about. Even up top it's a lot of opportunity, a lot of space to do things with eventually. So I can see a bright future in updating our facilities and freshening some things up. But like I said, I'm putting out a lot of fires, trying to get a lot of things established, trying to connect and get an NIL started. And so I'm wearing a lot of hats. So very blessed of the staff I got so I can do those things and not have to worry about other things.
On the football side, it's been a 3-down lineman on the defense here left a while, actually. Is that going to change with Coach Shearer, or is it going to be a kind of different alignment?
It just depends on the players we have. So Coach Shearer will put our guys in the best possible position based on our personnel. And like I say, we'll be in the acquiring process. Right now, we're in the evaluation process of all our players now. And we're going to give those guys a fair shot and see who can learn, who can do things the way we want them done, and just have to make decisions once we end with spring ball.
So your philosophy, you're not coming in with this is what we're going to do. You're looking at the players and kind of adjusting based on that.
It's always about the players. It's not about what coaches know. It's about what the players can do and what skill sets we can maximize, and that's what we're going to do.
A lot of time when you talk to assistants, they say, I can't wait to be a head coach to do this, implement this, whether it be start time, practice, whatever. What's the one thing that you've done since you've taken over here that you wanted to do for a long time?
Not have that bullhorn. Coach Smart has a microphone at practice, and that was one thing I said I wasn't going to do. So I may need one because I'm a little hoarse. I can kind of see why he had it, but that's probably the only thing. And there's no punt there. Coach Smart is very smart young man. I've learned a lot from him, and I appreciate that opportunity of working with him. And that's the only thing, though. The microphone I'm not going to do.
What about the biggest adjustment for you that over the last, early adjustment, obviously, I'm sure there'll be adjustments throughout, but what's the biggest adjustment you've had
Like I say, just having multiple things to do, just getting started, just staff, personnel, fundraising, parents, academics, where every decision in the organization I want to have my hand on and be involved with, and just getting everything kind of established. Just trying to get in a routine of things, and there's so many things going on right now. I don't feel like I'm in a routine yet. So once we get things that we want for our players, we'll kind of move step by step. I will move step by step and move further into more football things that I need to do.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but your son's probably still in Athens, right?
Yes.
So are you going back and forth, or are you like?
I'm here in Atlanta. Yeah, I'm not going back and forth. I wouldn't. Wouldn't get but 2 hours of sleep if I did that. So.
When you look at forming those relationships with the players and coaches, what's the most important thing for you personally to feel like those are successful going through the spring and into summer?
Like I said, we had an open door policy for myself and all our coaches, so we want to be well connected with our players. So if they got a problem issue, we want them to have an open line of communication with us, because there's some spring ball was almost going to end here, so there was trips that guys had. They had internships that they already kind of set up, so we're kind of working through things together because they thought the spring was going to end earlier. The coaching change happened, so we had to change that schedule. So we're moving. I think we're moving in the right direction with that, with the communication piece and our coaches and players trusting that as long as we communicate and we're on the same page, then we're going to be fine.
So you reach out to Will Lutz when he's on his deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
Any other alums, NFL alums, Panthers reach out to you yet?
Channing, I met him at the basketball game. I met a lot of alums. I can't call everyone's name. I can't call names and people in this building that I work with yet. Even my own players, I'm still learning. So, and I'm horrible with names, so it's going to take a little time for me to recall everyone's name correctly. So that's still a work in progress that I'll nail down.